All right, sweet. I like the idea of that board too. I'm kind of excited to see what people bring. Excited to see what the supplement people bring.
Yeah. Well, it's a good example of how you can bring some creative flair to the project.
And you said that you brought your board to actual suppliers?
Well, I would share that with them.
Yes. Was that like the first they ever seen that, or were they kind of used to that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, we included it in a lot of pictures of the store and the profile of our of what brands we wanted to carry and things of that sort. So it was kind of a combination of what we provided them, but it included that mood board.
That's cool. All right, let's get going on this little interview. Obviously, you're Lansing Lewis. Let's see. I want to talk to you about your time at CVS first, because that's what interests me personally a lot. So you were what was your position called at CVS?
Yeah, I started in 2002 as a category manager, which was responsible for the P&L or profit and loss statement for a group of categories in the healthcare quadrant of the store. So things like shaving needs, feminine hygiene, family planning, the off-shelf program.
So that was mostly your realm, was like that.
That's what I had full P&L responsibility for. So I would see suppliers, pick the items, decide how to promote them, how to price them, where to put them on the shelf, and things of that sort.
Will you say that's what spawned your interest to start your own venture?
Yeah, I mean it was like running your own business within a large company, so you didn't have to worry about any capital expenditures or investment money, but you got to cut your teeth on running a business within an organization. But at the end of the day, if you're successful, the monies go to them and not necessarily you, other than your salary.
Because it was all salary based. Right. I think at the point where you felt like you were undervalued, and is that why you left?
Yeah, well, I moved up through the organization to several different levels. I was there about 9 years, and my last role was a divisional merchandising manager for store brands, and including product development. So I spent about 6 years building products and taking them to market under CVS brand and other like brands that fall under their store brand arena. So it was mainly just, I felt like my the law of diminishing returns. I felt like my progress there was starting to slow, and it was time to
maybe you would have been stuck in that same position for a while.
Yeah, and I'd always joke that if you told me I had this job for the rest of my life, I'd quit it and not want it. So at that point, I had been in the same position for about 4 years, and decided it was a good time to leave, coupled with a family decision of I moved to Rhode Island with one child and left with 3, and we decided to come back to Tallahassee. There's a better cost of living to raise a family, those kind of things.
So your business, your brand building business, were you working on that before you moved? Were you still at CVS when you started working on that?
Yeah, no. When I decided to leave CVS, I decided I was going to open a consulting business when I moved to Tallahassee. And when I did, I brought in about 6 to 8 clients that I used to work with at CVS, and I helped them in a variety of ways, mainly taking new products to market. In each of the projects, there was a branding component. So I had a former colleague that left CVS to start his own business. We started talking with one another, helping each other with our own clients. And after about 5 or 6 examples, we decided, why don't we do this together? And so that's why we came together to form this brand development business. And our goal was to build our own brands, find our own manufacturer, and partner with them to go to market.
And then also help other brands build up and find their correct partners as well?
Right.
How do those people find you?
It was mainly through word of mouth, but also experience in the industry, already knowing
who to talk to,
the relationships and things of that sort. So, we'd go to trade shows. There's a big trade show in Chicago, Private Label Manufacturing Association, that we would go and we would walk around with a portfolio of what we were working on, and we would see old friends that we had from CVS and suppliers, and they would want to know what we're working on, and And we would show them, and we would end it with, if you think of a way we can help you, let us know. So those kind of that kind of entry.
Yeah, that's nice. Let's see some more formal questions. All right, so you're at CVS, so you probably had saved up enough. Were you able to start your business on your own, or did you have to go seek capital from anyone?
Yeah, no, I did start my business on my own.
So you were just completely financially stable?
Right. But at the same time, there was an urgency to get it going, as fast as possible. Right.
When you moved to did you already have like this teaching job in place when you came here? Or
no, so I moved here. I moved back about 3.5 years ago.
Okay.
So no, when I moved to Tallahassee, there was nothing here, nothing waiting, only a hometown to my wife, and so I worked out of the house for a number of years, and as I worked in this consulting that dwarfed into this brand development, I saw some opportunities to do some other things, including open a family store in town, and then I was a guest lecturer at Florida State for a few times in the last 2 years, and that kind of led to the opportunity to teach.
So this business you have in town, is this also this is a CVS, right? Or?
No, it's a clothing store.
Oh, that's right. You were talking about the clothing
Southern
store, and you were
Compass
talking about
Outfitters,
your supply and everything.
Right.
All right, so let's talk about that clothing store. I remember you mentioned in class how you were understocked to begin with.
Right.
Was that just a result of inexperience?
It was, yeah. I mean, when you starting a business, you try to do as much research on what it's going to take. One of the things that a lot of the things were accurate, but one of the things that was inaccurate was based on the size of our store, 1,600 square feet. The holding inventory we estimated at maybe $60,000 is now, I would revise it to about $150,000 in inventory is a better number.
Wow, that's a huge. That's a big difference.
So in the last year and a half, we've had to expand our inventory to kind of get to those levels.
Do you do the purchasing for that, or do you have someone?
Yeah.
So did you have to go out and learn all new trends as far as like?
One of the things that your experience, my experience back to CVS, a product is a product. So once you learn how the consumer engages it and the tactics to sell it, for me it was easy to transfer it from a health and beauty aid to a shirt or a pair of pants.
That's probably your highest valued skill then.
Yeah.
Because that seems like it would.
Where it was different is in a CVS environment, you only need to have one on the shelf to be in stock. In a clothing arena, you have to have a small, a medium, a large, and an extra large to be in stock. So the inventory equation is harder.
And I'm sure you don't order all this 10 extra larges to your 10 mediums. I'm sure you order more mediums than your extra larges.
And that's another thing. Before you open, you don't know what your consumer profile is going to be. And so through experience of the store running itself, you realize that the small is more important than the medium, and the medium is more important than the large. Yeah.
Is it primarily the college students, would you say, is your target market? Not even target market.
Yeah. I mean, when we opened, our goal was 18 to 30-year-olds, but we've expanded to more like 12 through 50-year-olds. We've been a little broader secondary market just as the success of the store has gone.
Okay. Let's see. Let's talk a little more about your store. It's a family store, you said. So do you employ family, or do you have just are you just employing?
So my sister-in-law and I are business partners in the store. And so we employ college students or high school students that are non-family members that work in the store for us. And the majority of them have been people majoring in retail merchandising, product development at Florida State.
Do you meet them through Florida State, or is it?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we've recruited them through the hospitality college.
That's what my little brother's trying to get into, sort of that realm. So that's very interesting. That's like they have a lot of every other day it seems like he's got some sort of function to go to over there where he's meeting new employers. Yeah. It's wow, this is amazing. We don't do any of that. I'm in economics. We had never had any sort of
Yeah, we've had great success, and one of our former employees graduated, went to work for Nordstrom's. Another former employee just went to work for Office Depot, and so their experience with us, we think and they think, was valuable in helping them land a job. So,
how has owning a business impacted your family?
With respect to retail is always considered long hour type profession. When I was at CVS, it was common to work 7 to 6 Monday through Friday, and every Sunday evening I would be running numbers for the previous week and things at home once you're able to get laptops and work from home and those kind of things. But I'd say just from a time commitment, I mean, when you're running a store that's open 10 to 7 6 days a week and 11 to 5 on Sunday.
That's probably a lot of work, right?
You got to run the store, and you got to make sure that, particularly during the peak season, if you don't have enough employees there, Black Friday we were open from 7 to 7, so just from
a lot of That's really cool having your own store. Is it difficult? Like, would you consider it difficult compared to your old job at CVS, or you think it's like a little easier because now you run the show and you make the decisions?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's better in the fact that you have more influence on the business. So you're going to sink and swim with your own work and ideas. At the same time, you're the face of the business from a customer service standpoint. So at CVS, you can sit behind a computer and make decisions, and your people skills with customers don't matter that much. When you have your own store, you could be placing an order in the back, and then on the floor helping a customer, pick out a gift and wrapping it for them. So you have to be able to extend those customer service skills, which aren't necessarily, it's something you kind of have to acquire or learn or things of that sort. But when you're doing it for yourself, it's more of an extension of yourself, and it's kind of inherent.
Do you find it more fulfilling to own your own store?
Yeah, it's been great. When I talk about if it was a business school project to open a store, it's been a fascinating project so far. So we're 16 months in, and who knows where it goes, but so far so good.
So far so good. That's good to hear. I want to talk to you about your other like ideas that you told me in class that you've had. Does that bring is it more joyous to you to run your clothing business, or to bring a new idea into fruition and maybe see it on the shelf at CVS?
Yeah. Well, when I was at CVS, the best thing that I did was create an idea and see it on the shelf. And that was probably a third of what I was supposed to be doing within the organization. So that was the good part, and I liked it, and I do miss it to some degree now. But at the same time, I can bring a new brand to market that isn't in town. I can expand a segment in the store through my store, and see how it does. So the market making aspect of business is still there, and it feels the same when you have a success in your own store as you did when you had a success back in
the brand in someone else's store.
Right.
So, in terms of the future, are you kind of happy with just having your own store and teaching, or do you have anything else kind of saved up for the future that you're looking forward to doing?
Well, when I got out of graduate school, I was told it was smart to have 5-year goals. Because anything after 5 years is not really realistic, and because you don't know what the future holds. And I started my career in the Tampa area, and then I moved to Rhode Island to go to work for CVS, and then I came back to Tallahassee. All 3 of those were not expected things. So I know from my experience that you don't know what is around the corner, but I'm having a great time and running the store and teaching and staying involved. You know, I always said when I was at CVS, and it comes back to one of the reasons why I left, as long as I'm getting bigger and stronger in my personal skill set, then it's rewarding to me. And so, if what I'm currently doing, if that continues to, you know, grow me as an entity or a person, or, you know, become more valuable to myself, then I'll keep doing it. And if it becomes stagnant, then I'll look for something new to branch on.
I hope you keep teaching. I mean, I love the class. A huge source of resource, like just so much knowledge. It's awesome. Let's see. There's all these. They gave me these sample questions. I don't really like them. Here's a good one, actually. What is the best advice you can give someone starting out, like starting their own business? It's kind of a broad question, but maybe if you had to sum it up.
Well, you know, in any aspect of your business, I think you have to have a passion for what you're doing. Okay, so if you don't have a passion for what you're doing, then you're probably not doing the right thing, or doing something that's interesting. So you need to make sure, you know, that you find an aspect of it that you can enjoy from it, because work is work. You know, hours are hours, and away from family is away from family, and you know, the paycheck pays the bills and those kind of things. But when it's all said and done, if you're not getting some sort of personal growth out of it, then it feels more just like a job.
Just like work. And I can tell that you have passion for bringing brands to market, because just when you talk to us, you can see that, you know, you get excited when you can see like a customer segment that would want something. That's something that excites me too. So that's a cool passion. It's an interesting passion.
Yeah, you know, and I don't know where it comes from. You know, a lot of times, you know, you have to be what I talk about, a product hawk, or, you know, you have to be interested in consumer goods. I mean, it's no different than, you know, someone that's interested in cooking or building or something. I mean, you just have to. For me, my experiences led me to be fascinated about things in the marketplace that people bring for consumption, and so that's been my area of interest.
Would you say like all right, let's say like when you were growing up, like obviously you weren't sitting there as a kid thinking like, I can't wait to bring, you know, like a brand to like CVS. What were some of your like passions or like hobbies maybe like growing up that you think would maybe even like lead you into the direction that you're in?
Well, I mean, as a kid, I mean, you're obviously I was interested in a lot of toys, you know, Star Wars figures and things of that sort. You know, I played sports, so I had that competitive juice from that aspect. You know, as I moved through college, I got into music and, you know, different bands and things of that sort. So in each piece along the way, you know, there's something to be interested in, and, you know, to you know, kind of go deep into. But I'd say, you know, the thing that's probably been the most impactful to me in my success in my career is just the competition piece of it.
Yeah.
I mean, wanting to win. And working hard to try to achieve it.
Did you play a lot of tennis when you were younger?
I did. I played tennis, I played basketball, and some other sports. But
tennis is like highly competitive.
Tennis was my sport. I played in college.
Really? Playing college? Wow. That's amazing. Tennis, I love playing tennis. I'm not that good at it, but yeah. I love the one-on-one competition. I love watching tennis. Like the excellence.
What's interesting about the sport of tennis is, particularly singles, you're the only one out there.
Yeah.
Okay. So winning and losing is depends on you. You can change the way you're playing to your strengths or your opponent's weakness. You can do all of that in the course of a match. So you can serve and volley. If that's not working, you can stay on the baseline. You can chip a charge. There's a lot of aspects of tactical things that you can change. And it's in a lot of ways it's similar to business.
Yeah.
In that you can change the way you're competing against your competitor or the marketplace.
I can see that. I can see how those things correlate. All right. Well, I think that's it for my questions. So thank you so much for giving me your time, and just thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
I love the class, and I hope we. I hate that I have to graduate and stop taking these sorts of classes. I'm about to go to law school, and that's going to be like.